Now Wacom's really been on a roll recently. For a long time their products were great, but their prices, not so much. When they did release a budget product, the competitors already had something better, and oftentimes for far less. So some of Wacom's products, really good products at a really good value, others on my, maybe you should skip this list. So let's check them out.
This is Brad. He likes to review the tech. He also likes to draw. And this here is his theme song.
The cringy theme songs will continue until each and every one of you has hit subscribe. So last year, Wacom has released a bunch of stuff. We got some new screenless Intuos Pro tablets. We also got some great Cintiq screen-based tablets. We even saw Wacom jump into the Android tablet market for the very first time. And we also got some Wacom One budget displays too. The only products that didn't really get a big update last year were their Cintiq Pro tablets, but those were already really good. So let's start there with those. I'm going to link all these products down below that I talk about here today, but a heads up, Amazon's Prime Day, or Prime Days as it is now, those are starting later this week, so you might want to hold off for a few days to see if any of these things go on sale before actually pulling the trigger. So these first products that I'm looking at, these Wacom Cintiq Pros, I'm going to give these a soft do not recommend. For most people, I don't think these are the best options that are out there. It really comes down to price. When we're talking about the Cintiq Pros that come in three sizes, 17 inches, 22 inches, and a big old 27 incher, these are the most expensive drawing tablets on the market from any brand anywhere. And even though I don't recommend them, I think they're actually pretty good products. All of them come with this. This is the Pro Pen 3. It might be, in fact, I'm going to go out on a limb here and I'm going to say it is the best pen you can get for any device anywhere right now. I review a lot of different products, and what happens is if I'm reviewing like a Windows laptop or an Android tablet, something that comes with a pen, there's always some adjustment phase where when I start drawing with the pen, I have to get used to it and kind of get a feel for it, and after a day or two, I kind of get into the flow and then I enjoy drawing with it. Maybe that pen doesn't do fast lines as well as I expected, or maybe there's just a little bit of a delay that I didn't think should be there, or the pressure is just a touch off. The great thing about the Pro Pen 3 is that no matter what device you use it on, I'm just instantly comfortable with it. It leaves such a great first impression, and that's hard to quantify with specs. It's 100% feel. These Pro tablets definitely are doing some of the lifting for that pen though. All these screens have a nice matte texture on the glass to them, and this gives the pen some drag, and it feels much better than drawing on just this smooth glass. All four of these displays are 4K, and all four are also multi-touch. And what makes them so expensive is how they handle color. 100% Rec 709, 99% DCI-P3, a whole bunch of color presets already baked into this thing. This is also the kind of feature that really drives up the price of pro level monitors. We saw this with the Apple Pro Display XDR just a few months ago. These can get really expensive. Now, the downside is that most pros, like even high-end pros, don't necessarily need this level of color accuracy, but some do, and that's why Wacom is offering these really at their pro level. And you may be asking yourself right now, wait, am I one of those pros who needs that level of color accuracy in my display? And I think if you have to ask yourself that question, then the answer to the question is no, probably not. The people who need that level of accuracy know that they need it, and for those who do, these are great products. For the rest of us, you're probably going to wind up spending thousands more than you really need to. So that would loop us back around to some products I do recommend, highly recommend. This is the Wacom Cintiq 16 and the Wacom Cintiq 24. These tablets pull back on some of those hardcore specs, but you're still getting the Pro Pen 3 in the box here. The same drawing experience for a fraction of the price. Oh, before we jump in, quick shout out to today's sponsor, me. My Learn to Draw in 60 Days course is designed for beginners. Every day a new lesson and some homework so you can learn to draw and the fundamentals so you can tackle harder tutorials and courses later on. Learn more over at my website, bradsartschool.com. Okay, the Cintiq 16 and 24. The updates here bring these tablets in line spec-wise with some of their competitors. First of all, we have a 2.5K display. Some people call these 1440p displays. Those two terms are interchangeable. The last generation had 1080p displays, and those displays didn't look very good, and also like were not bonded displays. They were not laminated displays. So there was a gap between the glass and the screen below them. So they didn't look nearly as modern, and oftentimes the stylus wasn't quite as accurate because of that. And those two things together make this a great upgrade over the last generation of Cintiq products. Now, one of the reasons resolution matters so much is, yes, pixels look clearer, but also when you think about how you use a drawing tablet, you're like hovering directly over it. You get closer to a drawing tablet than you do a monitor, which might be much further out in front of you. So 1080p display sitting on your desk is going to look more pixelated than a 1080p display sitting a few feet in front of you. On this 16-inch display, I think 2.5 is great. On this size, fantastic. On the 24-inch, once you get to that size, you do start to see pixels again because it's so much bigger. You're stretching the same number of pixels out over a much larger area. This is not going to look as crisp as your phone, but it is much better than the old 1080p screens. And I think this lower resolution is a good compromise because you're getting that huge price cut. Another feature that they have cut from here is touch. Although for $200 more on the 24-inch, you can add that in. They also sell a Pro Pen 3 customization kit for these, and I would consider picking one of those up. It is $30. Maybe what you want to do is try the Pro Pen 3 first. It is a thinner pen. It's all metal. After a few days, if you want something wider, then maybe grab the kit. I think you could just find the silicone sleeves by themselves for like $10 on Amazon if you don't want all the extra things like the extra weights and the extra button compositions and things like that. Anyway, it all makes the pen feel more substantial, and I like holding that a lot more. Now, the bigger display here comes with an adjustable stand in the box, and the 16-inch display has these nice fold-out feet that we see on a lot of drawing tablets that are around this size. Now, one thing you have probably already noticed here is that there are no shortcut keys on these displays. There's also no shortcut remote included in the box here. So just something to take note of. It's not something you necessarily need. You could just get away with just using your keyboard for shortcuts and that sort of thing, but it's worth noting that those are not here. Now that we're into this price range, it might be worth looking into some of the competitors because you can get them some things in this price range. Maybe you want to bump up the specs on that screen a little bit and you're not spending that much more. I rank everything I review over on my website, so you can check out some of the things that Huion and XP Pen have on offer in this price as well, even though I will say the Wacom, especially the 16, very competitive at this price. Next up, let's stay on screen tablets here and round out this category. This is the Wacom One 14-inch. We have a Wacom tablet that's only $300. Dude, this is very price competitive. I'm gonna say that this is a not recommend on this one though. That's gonna hurt a lot of people. I'm sorry. Now, honestly, I don't think this is really a bad product, but it does not use the Pro Pen 3. It's using similar pen tech to what Wacom licenses out to like phones or tablets, similar to the Samsung S Pen, for example. It's not bad. I do want to stress that, but it is a step down from that Pro Pen. And you can tell corners have been cut here. The screen, it does not look great. It doesn't have wonderful colors. The build quality also feels like a bit of a step down. The real reason I say do not recommend here is because you are giving up that Pro Pen 3, and here I think Huion's 13-inch pen, XP Pen's 13-inch version, those screens are better and they're just punchier looking. The colors look better, the contrast looks better, and I think the pens are a little bit better feeling in the hand as well. So this is not a bad product, there are just better options out there. Let's go over another recommend. This is the latest and greatest Intuos Pro tablet. We have 3 sizes, small, medium, and large. I have the medium here, and it is the perfect size. Now, since these are Pro tablets, they do come with that Pro price tag, but pros who have been using these kind of like old school Intuos tablets for like 12, 13 years and are looking to upgrade, you're going to be getting something really solid that's going to last you a really long time. It's also worth mentioning these are crazy thin. They are Bluetooth enabled, so you can go days without having to wire one in, and there are even some shortcuts along the top, although I have heard that is one of the complaints people have about this device is that the top isn't the best place for a shortcut because your hand is kind of lying across part of the drawing area. If you want something like this, but you want to also save some money, there are some non-pro Intuos tablets out there that are very good. They haven't been updated in years, but they don't really need to be. The medium is about half the price as the medium Pro, and it also has Bluetooth and the older 4K pen. Even though the pen is older, it still works really well, and this is not a bad option. There's also the budget versions. There's the Wacom One versions, but here I would also recommend, like the other Wacom One products, that maybe you want to kind of start looking at different brands brands here, especially if you're on the budget side of things. Lastly, on this list is a recommend. I made an entire video on these just a few weeks ago. These are the Wacom Movink pads. This is Wacom's first foray into the world of Android tablets. There's an 11-inch version and also a 14-inch version. I love these. I absolutely love them. Both of them. Smaller one is aimed at beginners, so the specs aren't quite as impressive. Actually, they're not impressive at all. This is really a mid-level processor, almost a low-spec processor, so the longevity of the smaller tablet might not be that great. If you're looking 3 years into the future, you're probably going to start to notice some lag. The 14, on the other hand, has a slightly older Snapdragon processor, but it was a very good processor for its time, and it is going to last you a lot longer. It also has a huge screen, over 14 inches. It's OLED. Unlike most other Android tablets, we also get the matte glass on both of these screens, which gives you that grip that feels so good with the Pro Pen 3. Oh, and the Pro Pen 3, we have to mention the Pro Pen 3. Yes, it shows up here yet again. I still use the 14-inch all the time for drawing. I'm an iPad guy. That's where I do most of my drawing, at least up until the last 6 or 8 months or so since I picked this up. But this Pro Pen and Clip Studio on this screen is just so good. There's also the ability to plug both of these now, into your laptop and use them like a Cintiq. So setting this up is kind of a pain. So set some time aside. Good news is you only have to set it up once and then you're good to go. Every time you want to turn it on, you just pull down on the menu and just toggle it on. There is a touch of lag when you use this as a Cintiq. So it's not quite as free-flowing as like a traditional drawing tablet, but it is surprisingly close. If it's something you want to do with your tablet is like an additional feature when you don't feel like drawing an Android or if you want to do some touch-ups on the desktop, it is very good. I would say that if you want to work with this like a Cintiq all day, every day, making it your like primary device that you connect to your computer, I would still go with a Cintiq in that case. As an additional feature though, very good. There's one big thing that gives me pause when I look at these Android tablets, and that is future support. A screen tablet like a Cintiq or even an Intuos tablet, 10 years from now, those are going to work fine on any computer. You just plug them in and you go. Wacom will still be supporting those devices with drivers. An Android tablet is a different animal. We've seen some manufacturers drop support after a few years. Samsung offers like 7 years of Android updates on their tablets. Wacom is offering security updates, but hasn't officially pledged Android updates yet. So you're definitely going to want to keep that in mind if you're looking to use this as a long-term device that you want to be using years and years and years into the future. So yeah, those are Wacom's products. That's what they've been cooking. I think this is the best lineup they have had possibly ever, with the most options. For years, Wacom was just the most expensive game in town and you were paying for that brand name, but now they have some really good mid-tier products. Their budget products could use a little bit of an upgrade, but they're experimenting a little bit with Android and some of the other things they're doing. I think Wacom is cooking. What do you think? Let me know down below in the comments. Thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you in a couple of days.